Hi there, this is a teaching coming to you from the Training Place of Excellence, and it's a teaching on different types of invoices. You have the VAT invoices. It says to you a VAT invoice is issued by a VAT registered taxable person and can be used to claim back VAT paid if the customer is also VAT registered. HMRC indicate that a VAT invoice must show a serial number for the invoices and an invoice date, the time of supply, which is your tax point, and I expect you to know you have the basic tax point and the actual tax point. And if the tax point is different from the invoice date, then the tax point and an invoice date will need to be shown on the invoice. The seller's name and address and VAT registration number, the customer's name and address, a description sufficient to identify the goods or services supplied to the customer. And the goods could also show the different units of products and the different items that are being sold at different rates of VAT, as the case may be. You also have electronic invoices. Those are similar to your normal VAT invoices. It's just that electronic invoices or e-invoices are invoices transmitted and stored in an electronic format without duplicate paper documents, and these will be required to contain the same information as mentioned above. You then have simplified invoices. Just as the name implies, simplified invoices are invoices which contain less details than the VAT invoice. So, where we are looking for the customer's name and the customer's address and the VAT number and the supplier's or the seller's name and address and a tax point date or invoice date and serial numbers on the invoice, those are information that are needed for a full VAT invoice. But the simplified invoice requires less details, and it can be used if the sale is £250 or less, or within the retail industry, but can't be used if there are any exempt items in the trade. So if you have standard rated items and exempt items in that same trade, and it is less than £250, you will not be able to issue a simplified invoice. So you have the limit that you need to check against, and then are there any exempt items or not? If you have standard rated items, reduced rated items, zero rated items, or a mix of any of those, you can use the simplified invoice if your trading amount is less than £250, or if you're in the retail industry. Zero rated and exempt invoices, zero rated products or exempt products, exempt from VAT. If you're selling any and only those, then you're not going to be issuing a VAT invoice. It says to you there, if an invoice is created for only zero rated items or only exempt items, this will not be classed as a VAT invoice. And where different rated items are issued in the same invoice with a zero rated item or exempt item, the invoice must show clearly that there is no VAT payable on those goods or services and show the total value of the items separately. So you separate your zero rated items from your reduced rated items or the standard rated items, or vice versa as the case may be. You also have modified invoices. Modified invoices says to you, a modified invoice is similar to a full invoice, but it also includes the VAT inclusive price of products and the total amount including VAT. Modified invoices are only used for sales exceeding £250. Look and note the difference between the simplified invoice and the modified invoice. Simplified invoice, less details, and it has to be up to £250 limit. Modified invoices, specific additional details, and it has to be more than £250 that include taxable products. This type of VAT invoice must be agreed upon with the client to allow VAT inclusive amounts. A modified invoice will include all the information that's found on a full VAT invoice, but the product price and total amounts will be inclusive of VAT. Please note the different types of invoices. We've talked about the VAT invoices, your normal full VAT invoice, your electronic invoices, which are the same, but in electronic format without any paper kept. Simplified invoices have less details, very commonly as what you will see in the retail industry. So when you go shopping onto the normal shops and you get a receipt from the till operator, that is a simplified invoice, literally said. You have your zero rated and exempt invoices. You have your modified invoices. Simplified invoices less than £250. Modified invoices more than £250. We look at that illustration before we call it a day. It says to us, a business makes the following sales: standard rated goods for £160 plus VAT of £32, and reduced rated goods for £40 plus VAT of £2. Can a simplified invoice be issued for this transaction? I hope you're thinking of the limit for the simplified invoice and the rules that you cannot put an exempt item, but every other thing can be put into a simplified invoice. So we need to check for the limit. So you have £160 plus £32 plus £40 plus your £2, and that will give me £234, which is less than £250. So yes, a simplified invoice can be issued. The next one says to us, a business makes the following sales: standard rated goods for £160 plus £32 for VAT, and exempt goods for £50. Can a simplified invoice be issued for this transaction? And the answer is no. And that's because there are exempt items included in this trade. I hope that has been useful. Please connect with us across all the social media platforms. Follow us, like us, and subscribe to our channel. And hopefully, keep working hard, and we will continue working hard with you. Adios, until later.